Identification verification is coming now for anyone who has a company. What do you need to know? Hi, I'm Kimberly Shapcotts, qualified chartered accountant, property investor and entrepreneur. Let's sit down and have a chat. Companies House is making some changes and identification verification is one that is coming in very, very soon. We now have a date, so this is going to become a mandatory requirement from the 18th of November, and we've got a whole transition year for that to happen. So anyone who's going into a new company or adding shareholders, adding persons of significant control, adding directors into companies, they will have to do this after that date at the time things are happening. For anyone who already has an existing company, before you can do your confirmation statement or going into next year file your company account, you'll need to have followed through on this process, which is why we've got that 12-month transition period, because if you've just filed your accounts recently, you may not need to do anything until next summer, and at that point you will need to have made sure you have done all the requirements to fit that together. The reason behind doing all of these changes is really to expand the principle of making sure that UK companies are not being misused and are being used in proper ways. So they're trying to minimise crime, they're trying to minimise abuse of our corporate structures that we have within the UK. At the moment we're talking about limited companies, and there is conversations about limited liability partnerships and other elements that will need to at some point in the future be doing similar sort of identification verification, but we don't have that in place yet. So at the minute we're focusing on our limited liability companies, but just be aware that if you're involved in any LLPs or other types of entities, there will likely be something coming in the future. So as a director, what do you need to do? But as a director, you'll have to follow through the identification verification process with Companies House. And this will need to be done by the next confirmation statement filing date, which is why we've got a bit of time, and it is a full transition year. So anything from the 18th of November, you'll have to have it in place. So unfortunately, if your confirmation statement is due by the 19th of November, you'll be doing it pretty much straight away. If your confirmation statement filing date isn't until the 1st of November, then you've got the option of leaving it for a full year pretty much before you are required to do it. Please note that this is all directors for a company. So I know with quite a few that we work with, we tend to coordinate with maybe one director when there's maybe 2 or 3. But in this case, it doesn't matter that they're the main person maybe dealing with the admin side of things. All directors within the company will have to complete the identification verification process with Companies House. When you do this process, what it will do is give you a personal code. So at present with our Companies House authentication code, we have one code which is for the company. In addition to this going forward, each individual, so each director, will have their own personal code. And this personal code will then be used and put into the confirmation statement when it is done, which is the reason you need all of them to have done it, so you can put all of the codes onto the confirmation statement when it is completed. If you're using an agent, you will need to provide that to your agent so they can put it onto your confirmation statement for you. Now, in terms of doing this identification verification, there is the option that you do it yourself directly with Companies House, or if it's something you go, I'm not really IT literate, I'm not fussed about doing it myself, I don't mind paying someone to do it, you can use an authorised corporate service provider, or an ACSP for short, because they will be able to do this process for you on your behalf, and they will verify you with Companies House, having you provided them certain documents to make sure that you have fulfilled the requirements, and then you will go about doing nothing. They will do all the paperwork with Companies House for you to create that personal code and then enable you to provide it to whoever needs it going forward. If you are a director of multiple companies like myself, you'll have to do this for each company. However, you will only get one personal code So in effect, when you are doing your second, third, fourth companies, you will follow the instructions and you won't be generating a new personal code, but you will be putting in your existing personal code to basically connect you, so all of your companies will be connected with your personal code, so that they know there's not just 2-3 people who have the same name. You are the same person and you are involved in all of those companies. It will allow Companies House to make sure that the register does provide you all the information. I know at present when you put some people's names, including myself, you get some of my companies when you search on one way, some on another way, so it's not quite fully connected thinking in the back end of the database for Companies House. So this will just help to definitively connect all of the relevant people, so they'll know which companies everyone is connected to, especially where there is multiple companies in place. But you will need to go through the process for each of them so that each company has the relevant codes, so you can do the confirmation statement for each of them. As mentioned before, if you are forming a new company after the 18th November, you will have to do this process immediately to enable you to actually form the company. Let us move on to PSCs. So these are persons of significant control, which tend to probably be, for a lot of companies, the same as the director. So the director is the same as the PSC is the director. There are occasions where this may be different. So this may be you've got a couple, one is a director, but both of them are shareholders, so both of them are PSCs. In this scenario, both the PSCs need to both have done the identification, verification, to ensure that they are compliant with the new requirements for Companies House. There'll be an online service to enable you to do this from the 18th of November. So this one is something that is coming in at the point that the transition happens. All PSCs will have a 14-day period to provide this code to Companies House. The dates of this 14-day period will depend on whether you were registered as a PSC before the 18th of November, the transition day, and if you're a director of a company. If you've already completed the verification process, you won't need to be doing it again. You'll just need to provide the personal code and a verification statement for each role you hold. Now, as we've said, there are two options that you've got available. One is to go and do it yourself so that you can verify yourself with Companies House directly. The alternative option is use an authorised corporate service provider, which could be your accountants, it may be some solicitors, formation agents. There'll be a range of people who are registered to be able to do this. Now, I know from our point of view, we're getting everything set up to enable us to do this for our clients, and I'm sure a lot of other businesses are in the process of doing this. So that will probably, for most businesses, become available from October sort of time. So it may be you want to have a go yourself, or it may be you're not fussed about having to go, pass it over to somebody else to deal with. But from October time, I would guess there'll be a lot of people out there that are able to provide this service to their clients to enable this to get the ball rolling, to make sure you're compliant ahead of or as the 18th of November is approaching. For those doing it themselves with Companies House, it is using the gov.uk one login, so make sure you've got one of those, and if you haven't, you can see about getting one set up to connect the different things that you use when logging onto government sites. If you're using an authorised corporate service provider, just make sure that they are registered. Not every accountant may offer this service. They may say it's not worth the energy that they want to be doing. I'm going with a lot will be able to be registered and be able to provide this service to you, but just speak to your accountant to see how it fits together to ensure that they can do it if you're looking for an alternative party to be completing it for you. One thing that you will have seen, hopefully, on some of the emails you're getting from Companies House is do not send your ID directly to Companies House. They don't want everyone to be sending their identification because it's all going to be verified electronically. It is not going to be a post your ID to them and they'll send it back to you sort of process. So what to do next? We're looking at getting you verified so you get your personal code. When you've got your personal code, you can then connect all the roles that you have on any company you're involved in to show that you are involved in all of those entities, and that will then allow you to move forward, keep filing everything that you need to with Companies House, from confirmation statements to accounts going forward, and ensure that you're compliant with the new regulations. In terms of your personal code, this is something that you want to keep secure. It's like your Companies House authentication code, so you don't want to be passing it out to everyone, but it's something to keep protected. If you ever find that you've lost your code, you're not sure what your personal code is, or you don't make a note of it at the right time, if you log back onto your gov.uk One account, it will be in the Manage Accounts section, and you will be able to log on and see that code again if you lose the piece of paper that you write it on, or you don't write it down and you just need to go back to it to grab that number. The only people that you should be sharing that code with is those that you trust, whether it be accountants, solicitors, depending on how things are fitting together. Probably for your property transactions, for your solicitors, your accountants will need it to do your corporate filings with Companies House. Obviously, as you're doing some of these different details, I would definitely recommend that you check all your data is up to date, they've got the right address, they've got the right contact details for you, so that you are getting any information that you need to from Companies House to make sure you're up to date as a director, as a person of significant control. As you can see, there's quite a lot that you've got to do, but hopefully it's not going to be too complicated. And going forward, it will just become the norm for us as part of having a corporate structure. If there are any quirks, then please do leave some comments of any issues anyone's having, and we can see what we need to do to resolve. Keep an eye on the channel, because we will be putting more videos as we get closer to the time to make sure, if we're finding there's any issues, if we're finding any ways that you need to go about doing it, we will be sharing to make sure that you can get this done on a timely basis and make sure that all your future filings with Companies House are done on time. The key thing I would probably say is don't leave it till last minute. Don't go all the way until your confirmation statement date and find, oh, I've not done it, I need to do it, and then you have a problem, and then it's delayed by a couple of days, a week, and then you're filing your confirmation statement late, which you don't want to be doing, because you just want to make sure that you're keeping on time and filing everything as and when you should be filing it. Hopefully today you've discovered what you need to know about doing your identification verification with Companies House. Keep on the channel to find out more and more about this as we get more information, as we get close to the implementation date, and as it passes, how it goes for everyone, and any tips and tricks that you may need to be aware of. If you do have any questions now, then please do leave a comment. Please like this video and do subscribe to the channel. And let's make tax less taxing. Let's make tax less taxing.